Hello everyone, welcome to Bhadra IAS Academy. So let us today discuss some important 3 schemes approved by the government just 2-3 days ago. Okay, so the topic that I put here, there are 3 important schemes which the government recently approved. The first one is the 𝗔𝗣𝗦𝗖 scheme. Basically it is for harnessing the power of oceans and also exploring the minerals, etc. Right. Then the second scheme which is familiar, that is the PM Kishan extension. So government has extended the scheme till 2031. And the third scheme is the 𝗨𝗏 𝗔𝗗𝗥𝗘. Right. So these schemes were approved by the government towards the end of July. I think 31st July the government gave approval. Right. So now exam perspective, these kind of questions can be asked. So now let us look at the details of one particular scheme today, right? I am going to discuss in detail the PM 𝗔𝗗𝗥𝗘, but I will just give an outline of the other 2 schemes, right? So now if you look at the first one, the 𝗔𝗏𝗦𝗖, it is the National Offshore Exploration Scheme, right? So stronger energy security for India, that is the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Right, it comes under the which ministry? Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. What is the objective? Exam में कभी-कभी वही पूछा जाता है. To increase the offshore oil and gas exploration, especially in deep water and ultra deep water blocks. Okay, so the outlay, the budget is about 84,000 crore till 2031. Right. So why these things? The scheme. So it will boost our domestic energy security, encourage exploration of all this oil and gas, and reduce import dependence, right? And support offshore infrastructure development, right? So these are the very basic outline. Later on, I will discuss the scheme in detail. The second scheme approved by the government is the PM Kishan scheme. This too, I think you may be familiar. It is going on now for quite some time. So what is the important point about this scheme? It comes under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Now government is providing direct income to support the farmers. Therefore, the government has kept about 3.15 lakh crore till 2030-31, right? Which means government will continue to give 6,000 per year to the farmers in 3 installment, that will be direct benefit transfer to the bank account. So it will in a way support the farm income and also revive the rural economy. Now our main focus is the third one. Today what I am going to discuss in detail. The third one, if you see, this is the PM 𝗔𝗗𝗥𝗘. So what is the scheme all about? This scheme is about floating solar for a cleaner tomorrow, basically clean energy, solar energy context, right? It comes under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And what is the main objective? Is to promote the floating solar power generation. And what is the budget allowed by the government? 5,000 crore, right? So what are the key targets here? To generate about 5,000 megawatt or 5 gigawatt capacity of solar energy on what? On reservoirs, lakes or any other water body, so that we don't need to occupy the land. Okay. So it will also boost our economy and provide employment. So now let us look into the details of this 𝗨𝗏 𝗔𝗗𝗥𝗘. In short, it is called PMSSY. It is a major step towards the clean energy development. Now, what is the overview of the scheme? It is basically for floating solar photovoltaic projects, right? So, remember that floating solar photovoltaic projects with energy storage systems, right? So, the budget is 5,000 crore. The project target is to create 5,000 megawatt floating solar projects capacity, right? So, minimum storage capacity roughly about 2 hours. Right, that is the 10,000 megawatt hours, right? So the implementation timeline, this will be implemented roughly till 2030-31. However, giving the financial support will continue up to 2033. Right? Now, which institution made an assessment about the possibility of this energy? That is the National Institute of Solar Energy. Right? So the estimated floating solar potential approximately 102 gigawatt possibilities are there. So that is why government has approved this scheme for the floating solar energy projects. Now, the central financial assistance for this project is, right, that is the CFA. It is about 1 crore per megawatt, right? So the government of India will provide a financial assistance up to 1 crore per megawatt. So it will be provided for eligible floating solar photovoltaic projects. Okay. Then government also support for preparatory activities, that is the central financial assistance up to 50 lakh. This will be given for taking up feasibility studies, and doing some hydrography assessment, environmental studies, etc., so that the projects can kickstart. So basically government is trying to provide some fiscal support, financial assistance. Okay. Now, all the states and union territories of India will benefit from here. Therefore, it will more or less lead to inclusive development. Right? That's the point government wants to say, that every state can benefit. So the scheme therefore would increase the floating solar photovoltaic capacity by 5,000 megawatt. Currently, if you see how much we are producing roughly about only 700 megawatt. So it's a huge jump, to have a 5,000 megawatt. Okay. So from exam perspective, you need to be familiar with this kind of minute details as well for the statement based questions. Now, key benefits of the scheme. इस scheme के benefits क्या होते हैं? So exam perspective में ये सब अगर mains में आ गया, how will you discuss this? So first one, reduction of around 10 million tons of CO2 emission annually. So the amount of that CO2 that we are emitting and polluting, which will be reduced by 10 million tons. That's a big achievement. Then government also said that they will be able to generate about 16 to 17,000 full-time, equal to employment opportunity because of various people involved in these projects. Okay. Another important benefit is domestic manufacturing of floating systems and components, so that what happen, Indian companies will get the benefit, it will be locally produced. Clear? Strengthening the entire value chain of the projects. That means what? Various parts that are required to be produced, all that will also be covered under this. Right? So it will therefore generate, okay, so it will therefore generate what we can say, some kind of income, employment opportunities in the country. So that might help the economy as well, right? So these are what we can say, some of the key highlights given by the government with regard to how it will benefit India, right? Now, based on this, I am also giving you some MCQs for practice. Like for example, if you look at here, okay, if you look at here, the projects under PMSSY are proposed to be sanctioned during which period? Option B, 2026-27 to 2030-31, right? Remember the time period. Next one. Under the PMSSY, the central financial assistance for eligible floating solar PV projects after successful commissioning, right? It will be how much? As I told you, 1 crore per megawatt, right? So that's what we discussed just now, that they will be able to provide about 1 crore per megawatt production, right? Question number 3, which of the following is the primary objective of the Pradhan Mantri Surya Sarovar Yojana? So if you see, the primary objective is option B, right? That is to develop 5,000 megawatt of floating solar photovoltaic, projects with energy storage system. So this is the basic idea how the government has launched the scheme. On that, I have also given you probable MCQs for your practice session, right? So go through the scheme because schemes are very important for exam preparation, right? And if you are preparing for APSC, UPSC, SSC, banking, ADRE, Assam police, whatever exam, if you require any help or support, you can contact Bhadra IAS Academy at 8638391721. So keep watching our one topic a day discussion. It will be useful for your exam preparation. Thank you.